I'm Davy. I'm awesome. And welcome to Davy's Awesome Movies, where I review the styles of movies that I love, the alternative, B-rated, cold style flicks. And this week, one of my favorite movies from the 80s. This movie was made in 1985, and it was directed by Lisa Godiep, and written by Dennis Feldman and Jeff Franklin, and produced by Andrew Fogelson. Made and distributed by Columbia Pictures, and also made by Suma Entertainment and Triton. Ladies and gentlemen, just one of the guys. The movie opens with the lead of this movie, Terry, played by Joyce Heiser, in her journalism class, getting a visit from her friend Denise, who isn't in that class.
Terry. Denise, why aren't you in science?
Why aren't you out of high school? I tell you, it's thanks to 80s movies that when I got to high school, I was really shocked to find out none of these guys look like adults. Terry is hoping to get her article submitted to a contest by her teacher that would get her a summer internship at the Sun Tribune. A contest where the prize is a job you don't get paid for? Sign me up! At lunch, Terry's little brother, Buddy, comes over to hit on her friend Denise.
Our parents are gone for 2 weeks. You know what that means? Their king-size bed is empty.
Buddy's a pervert. But to be fair, he is a teenage boy, and probably the only actual teenager in this movie. The actor Billy Jane, who at the time went by Billy Jacoby, was 16 years old, versus all the other actors in this movie who were like in their late 20s to mid-30s. Since Terry and Buddy's parents are gone for 2 weeks, Buddy thinks that they should have a party with all of Terry's friends.
You want to molest my friends.
Terry says no.
You'll have a party, and I'll...
After this display, Terry is shocked that her brother isn't even a little embarrassed.
I'm horny. Horny will kick embarrassment's ass every time.
My brother's logic. Terry is upset when she finds out that her article was not one of the ones submitted to the contest. I mean, this is devastating. She might actually have to get a job that pays her. So she goes to talk to her teacher about this.
See, what you're trying to tell me is that the nutritional content of our school lunches isn't interesting.
No? After they talk for a little bit and the teacher makes it clear that he just doesn't think journalism is for Terry, maybe she'd be better off as a model because she's so pretty, Terry is now convinced that the only reason her article didn't get submitted is because she is a woman. So she storms off. Later, Terry's college boyfriend Kevin comes over, who's not all that interested in hearing her problems, more interested in getting some. She tells him she's not in the mood, she wants to be left alone.
Now? Can't you be alone when your parents are home?
Dude. No.
All men care about is sex.
Not true! I also care about food. But seriously, knowing who your brother is, maybe going to him about this is not the best idea. And it's not. He's not even remotely helpful. But she does get an idea.
Is your sister home?
Yeah.
Terry?
Yeah, that's her brilliant plan. Even though he thinks this is stupid and she's not going to get away with it, he is her little brother, so hey, I'll teach you how to be a guy. Starting with how to scratch yourself properly. Although she says she's not going to do that, because her balls don't itch.
All balls itch, it's a fact.
That is a fact. I've actually sat around women talking about all the reasons they think we scratch our balls, and I'm like, we scratch them because they itch. Not a big mystery to it. Like seriously, you women complain all the time, but you think it's comfortable carrying those things around? They itch, they stick to your leg, you smash them in your sleep. Next, he's going to teach her how to walk.
Say, baby, what's happening? I'm a lean, mean sex machine.
Who walks like that? All of this is because Terry's brilliant plan is to go to another school and resubmit her article to some other teacher. As a guy. On Terry's first day of school, she as a he, meets Greg.
Dude! Hey, no pain, no gain.
Played by William Zabka. This is the second movie in what they have called the William Zabka Bully Trilogy. First was The Karate Kid, then this, then Back to School. When Greg sees Terry...
Watch your prickers.
They teach you that in Cobra Kai. At some point during the school day, Terry has to use the bathroom. The boys' bathroom.
Just finished.
Why don't you just pretend you have to poop and use the stall? There you go! At lunch, Terry witnesses more of Greg's antics.
Full extension is very important.
Okay, I don't care how tough you are. You spill my lunch, I will crane kick you right in the face. For PE, Terry has to figure out how to put on her gym clothes without undressing in front of the other guys. So after thinking a little bit, Terry gets an idea. A way to clear everybody out so she can get dressed.
Everybody else, fire! Collecting!
Why didn't you just cut class? I mean, seriously, you're planning to be here for like a week. What, are you afraid you're gonna get expelled? But now in gym class, they're playing basketball. In teams.
Shirts! Skins! Shirts! Skins!
Of all the darn luck!
Stomach, shooting pains. I ate in the cafeteria.
Terry gets excused to go to the school nurse. Which, good luck. All she's probably gonna do is give you a Mylanta. Finally, Terry gets to her journalism class, and she submits her article to this teacher. And he says the writing is very good. But
This stuff is really boring.
basically a lot of what the other teacher said. So it turns out it's not because you're a girl, it's because nobody wants to read an article about school lunch. But the teacher gives Terry a little bit of hope. He says he's not submitting his until a week from Monday.
Think of something exciting. Try again.
So there you go, a little light at the end of your tunnel. So now the problem is Terry has to come up with an idea for a new article.
What about girl gets in locker room, turns stupid?
I'd read it. But Terry says there is a story here, which, obviously, and to get the story, her idea is that she needs to go make some friends. Any friends that she can, but as a guy.
Want some company?
Yeah, sure.
Terry meets Rick. Well, officially meets Rick.
Last time we met, I was in some bushes.
They get to talking, and Rick says that he wants a job in the music business. Terry, of course, loves music too.
I like The Clash and Talking Heads and Springsteen and Prince.
Of course, you like Bruce Springsteen. Around this time, Joyce Heiser was dating him. They dated for a few years. Then Terry gets noticed by a girl, Sandy, played by Sherilyn Fenn.
What a fox. Dresses like Elvis Costello. Looks like the Karate Kid.
No wonder Zapka hates Terry.
I'm gonna get him.
Well, that should go well. To further cement a friendship with Rick, Terry offers Rick a ride home. And once they get there, through Terry's not-so-subtle hints, Rick invites her inside to hang out.
You want a beer?
Yeah, I'll take a brewski.
Ah, the 80s and 90s. The most unparented generations ever. Terry goes to check out Rick's room.
This is different.
I'm kind of into James Brown.
The actual James Brown actually came by the set for a few days to teach the actor, Clayton Rohner, the one who plays Rick, some of his moves that we'll see later in the movie. Later, Terry has an idea for a story.
Listen, I want you to wear something really hip to school tomorrow. We're gonna get you a date for the prom.
Terry is going to get Rick a date. The next day, Rick goes to ask out a girl.
You have beautiful eyes. I'll bet.
I've done that. All day, Rick is asking girls out left and right, and all of them are saying no. I've done that too. So Sandy comes over and offers to set Rick up with her cousin Jill, under the condition that they double Rick and Jill, Sandy, and Terry. And since Rick is so desperate for a date,
This Jill better be some girl.
Terry agrees. Gotta say, that part's never happened to me. No girl has ever offered to set me up with her cousin. I had one girl try to set me up with her sister, but that didn't go so well. That'll be a story video someday. So now it's date time, and we get to see what kind of a girl Jill is.
I swear 6th grade is so bogus. It's a joke.
She's a great 13-year-old. Which is not exactly appropriate for a high school senior. Who's played by a 30-year-old.
Sandy, you tricked me bad.
To be fair, you got a little trick of your own going on.
Sandy, get out of there!
Now you're even. But Sandy isn't swayed.
It's okay. I mean, how small can it be?
Well, if this wasn't a subtle message that size doesn't matter, I don't know what is. Back at the house, Buddy had set up a little study date with a girl in his school named Linda. But she's not that into him.
Why? Linda, wait. For God's sake, I vacuum, Linda.
Yeah, that only turns girls on when you marry them. But when you marry them, it does work. Vacuuming, doing the dishes, cooking, that turns them on. They'll sit there and watch that all day. It's their version of a strip club. Linda tells Buddy he's a nice guy.
No, not a nice guy. That's the kiss of death.
It really is.
Would it make any difference at all if I said I was hung like a bear?
She asks, is he?
No. Just checking.
Goodbye, Buddy.
And you're done. The next day, Terry's thought about it and figured out why Rick is striking out so much. She takes him clothes shopping.
Welcome to the 80s.
You know, say what you want about 80s fashion, but it's certainly better than sagging and skinny jeans. Rick goes over and makes conversation with Deborah, Greg's girlfriend, and Greg is not happy about that. So at lunch...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Man, William Zabka gets into so much trouble over his jealousy. I mean, first Allie, now Deborah. Of course this upsets Terry.
Looks so nice today. You were perfect.
Yeah, if you really want to be a guy, then remember that straight guys don't do that to each other unless they want to get punched. The next day at Terry's new school, Buddy stops by to give Terry a message from...
Your true love. Kavina.
Buddy is having an awful lot of fun giving the message that Kavina is going to pick Terry up at 7:30.
You know how she worships your rippling muscles and your hairy chest.
I feel like if I was in Buddy's position, I'd be doing the same thing. Now, since Buddy has kind of striked out with every girl at his school, he decides since he's at a different school, go talk to some of the girls.
Can I be totally honest with you? Your touch is the reason why I went through puberty.
I feel like if I was in Buddy's situation, I wouldn't do that. But I think I know somebody who would. Finally, to get back at Greg, Rick gets up, starts insulting and making fun of Rick in front of everybody in the lunchroom. Even mentioning that most people body build like Rick to either make up for the fact that they're not very smart or that they're very underdeveloped.
Those of us in Greg's gym class certainly know the answer to that.
In case you don't get it, he's saying that Greg has a tiny winky. And now he's got a real tribute to Greg. Okay, you guys are wasting food. I mean, though, it's school food, so... Can you waste school food? I'm pretty sure it is waste. Of course, Greg is not happy. But his girlfriend Deborah has had enough of his jealousy, of his bullying. She's fed up, she's dumping him. Which goes to show, kids, bullying will cost you the pretty girl. I mean, well, sort of. Not really. No, it won't. Terry is now telling Rick that with this momentum and his new popularity that he just got, he needs to ask out some more girls. Convinces him to try one more time to ask out one more girl. So Rick goes all out.
Would you like to go with me to the prom?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Deborah and Rick are going to prom together. And then after that, it's on to April Fool's Day. Those two actors were in that movie. But now Rick insists that Terry needs to get a date to the prom as well. Insists so much that he says that if Terry doesn't get a date, then he's not going either. Terry knows just who to ask.
Denise, will you be my date at the prom?
And it's at this point that my brother's head explodes. Denise is hesitant, but Terry's explaining she just needs a date or Rick won't go with Deborah.
What could he possibly see in her? She's totally wrong for him.
Ooh, somebody's jealous.
Why would I want Rick when I have Kevin?
Because Kevin's like 40. At least Rick's like only 30. Like you. Just then, Sandy arrives to see Terry. So Terry very quickly has to go back to being a boy. Yeah, right. I wish makeup came off that easily. Don't you judge me. I was in high school drama. Terry, of course, has to pretend that Buddy's room is her room and takes Sandy in there. And I can't show you any of this scene. Not voiceover, not clip, nothing. Because the walls of Buddy's room are literally covered in centerfolds. Way too much for me to censor, so I'm pretty sure that YouTube would have a fit. But in this room, Sandy tries to seduce Terry. Which is crazy. I don't know any woman who would try to seduce a guy surrounded by naked women. Unless, of course, she was too afraid to admit to herself that the naked women is what she wants. Kevin shows up, and he's a little miffed.
You said you'd be ready and dressed to kill.
He's also mad that you forgot to get him his arthritis medicine. Terry needs Buddy's help.
Listen, there's a half-naked woman in your bedroom feeding pizza to some fish, and she's all yours.
Ah, every boy from the 80s fantasy. Cheryl and Fenn feeding their fish. If you know what I mean. And if you do know what I mean, please tell me, because I have no idea. Buddy needs a little convincing.
What if you're lying?
What if I'm not?
Good point. If I'm not back in a week, forward my mail.
So he goes upstairs. But Sandy didn't go there for him. She gets embarrassed and leaves. Terry's in the car apologizing to Kevin about everything, just trying to tell him that she's under a lot of pressure with the article.
Terry, what is it with this article? I mean, it's nice to have a hobby, but let's get serious.
A hobby?
Oh, dude, you done messed up. Fast forward, Terry is getting ready for the prom, and Buddy is upset.
The closest I've come to sex was a girl who took her top off to seduce my sister.
Hey, could be worse. At least you didn't try to break the ice by asking a girl where she lives. Just then, Kevin calls, and Terry tells him that they need to have a serious talk about their relationship. Seeing where it's headed, Kevin hangs up. So they're done.
All right.
Well, see, at least some good happened for you there, buddy. So now we go to the prom and we see some of those dance moves that James Brown taught Rick. Which I gotta say, not bad for only 3 days. Terry, though, can't get over Rick and Deborah.
Rick and Deborah belong together. What a plot!
Kevin shows up at Terry's, and of course she's not there, and he wants to know where she is.
Look, you can tell me now, or you can tell me in the hospital.
So Buddy says he will tell Kevin where Terry is, as long as he takes him with him.
I don't want to miss this.
That would be me. Back at the prom, it is announced that Greg and Deborah are the prom king and queen. And of course, Terry's got something to say about this.
They really do make a nice couple.
Have the traditional king and queen staff.
Subtle. Even though they are the prom king and queen and they're supposed to have a dance, Deborah refuses to dance with Greg. So Greg reacts accordingly.
May I cut in?
Oh, where's Pat Morita when you need him? I guess Terry will do. Never mind. But by now, Buddy and Kevin have arrived. Apparently, Buddy and Terry had the same fighting instructor. Which is why they had the same result. But at least this has given Rick some time to regain his bearings.
Okay, tough guy. You want a piece of me now, huh? My back's not turned the other way.
So they fight! But not for very long. Okay, I'm glad you got your revenge, but you know, somebody else might have wanted some punch. Kevin comes over and Rick is confused. Who is this guy?
Terry's boyfriend. Who are you?
Just a friend.
Yes, Terry's college boyfriend who just sat there and watched some high school kid beat up his girlfriend. She was lucky to have you.
I'd love someone else.
Whoa, thanks.
Look,
Terry pulls Rick aside in private so she can finally tell him that she is a girl.
Right, and I'm Cindy Lauper.
I have no idea who Cindy Lauper is. Perhaps did you mean Cindy Lauper? Rick isn't buying it, so to convince him...
Wait a minute, are those what I think they are?
Originally, Joyce Heiser was not going to do a nude scene. She even had a no nudity clause in her contract. This is the only nude scene she's ever done. The way they convinced her was they tried over and over to find a way to get rid of the nude scene, but they ended up saying, without this, the reveal just didn't work. Although I gotta say, you could have just shown her from behind like I did. The audience would have got it. Dude, shut up! Oh, you shut up. You saw them. Terry begs Rick to believe her that she is sorry and believe her feelings that she has for him.
Right, Terrence. Because you've been so honest up till now.
Rick storms off, and in front of everyone, Terry makes one last-ditch effort. To save face, Rick announces to everybody that Terry is actually a female.
Well, gotta go.
When Terry gets home...
You remember Sandy, the fish girl?
Hi.
Yeah, buddy! Sorry, but Cheryl and Fenn was hot. By now, Terry has submitted her article and gone back to Pearl High.
Congratulations on winning.
He also apologizes about misjudging her. Although, you didn't really misjudge her. The article was stupid. I mean, who wants to read an article about lunch? Okay, I do, but not school lunch. Now it's summer. Buddy comes to pick up Terry at her internship. He is late, and she is a little miffed, but Terry has a surprise waiting for her.
You look very good in a dress. Very good.
He also tells her that he read the article.
Do you, still feel the same way about me?
So now everyone's happy. Even Buddy. So there you have it. That's the 80s classic, Just One of the Guys. One of the staples of every 80s and 90s kid growing up. This movie did have some success, as it had a $5 million budget and did $11.5 million in the box office. However, that's definitely not the performance they were hoping for, but it quickly found more success when it was released to VHS. It was one of the top rentals that year, and it's how my brother and I saw it. Funny my parents let us watch this. And the critical reception on this movie was about half and half, as far as liking it or not. As far as the audience reception of this movie, most of the people who've seen this movie love this movie. Most of the criticism was that it was just another teen movie, which I gotta disagree with. This was not just another teen movie. At the time, they weren't doing a whole lot of movies like this. Now this story has been done to death, but at the time, I wouldn't say it had never been done, but it wasn't like done to death. Not yet. I think the most unfair criticism I heard was people saying that the only way you could enjoy this was by being a teenage pervert, but I disagree. Sure, there was some perverted humor in it, but there wasn't that much nudity. There was one brief scene with Joyce Heiser, and then there were some centerfolds on Buddy's wall. To me, it's just another classic fish-out-of-water comedy, so enjoy it for what it is. It was a feminism story of a girl thinking she wasn't getting a fair chance, so she decided to see if she could get a fair chance as a guy. And what I liked about it is that whereas, yes, her original teacher was a touch sexist, not full-on, but a touch, the other one, not sexist at all, but still letting her know, like, hey, it's just not that good. Try again. And I also gotta say, I felt a little bit for Joyce Heiser and what she had to do to make herself look more like a guy. She had to wrap her torso down, of course, to hide her breasts, in over 90-degree Arizona weather. If you haven't been to Arizona, 90 degrees is what they call cool. One of the other people, though, considered to play Terry was Jennifer Jason Leigh, who still went on to have a decent career. And I think that's good for Joyce Heiser because this was her only top billing role she ever had. This was also the directorial debut of Lisa Gottlieb. Also, like I mentioned in the review, William Zabka's second in his William Zabka Bully trilogy, which sadly is kind of what hurt his career. A year before this movie came out was The Karate Kid, which is what really jump-started William Zabka's career. However, after playing the bully in The Karate Kid, they cast him in The Bully as this, then they cast him as the bully in Back to School, so basically he got typecasted as the bully, which is sad because William Zabka actually has a lot of range. He just never got to show it. He also talked about extensively that his mother didn't like how everybody hated him because he always played the hateable character. Then again, he was just that good at it. But ultimately, he, Joyce Heisner, and all the other cast in this movie did a great job, had great chemistry together, and did great storytelling. It's a fun movie that spawned a kinda, sorta sequel that I'm going to review in the future. But for right now, if you haven't seen Just One of the Guys, I do highly recommend that you check out Just One of the Guys. It is a really, really fun movie. So there you have it. That's my movie review this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications when I post my videos, and leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of Just One of the Guys. Love you guys. And girls.